Icebreakers. Let's talk about breaking the ice. By the end of this training, you will have 25 icebreakers that you could use in your online environment. So first, what is an icebreaker? Some of you may be familiar with the concept and some of you may be like, what? Well, icebreakers, they can be a few things. First, it's a tension breaker. Have you ever walked into a meeting with people you did not know and the room is quiet and you can feel the tension? Well, usually someone says something to break that tension or break that ice. That's what an icebreaker can do. Break the tension in the room. An icebreaker can be an activity, it could be a game, or even an event. So an icebreaker could also be a warm-up to a group or to an activity that's going to follow. Finally, an icebreaker, it can be fun. It can be an introduction to a topic. For example, you could have an icebreaker introduce a lesson objective or content for a lesson for the upcoming week. And finally, it can be based on a purpose. So a purpose, this would be like why we're calling this meeting or what is the objective of this group coming together. So I know you're sitting back wondering, what's in it for me? I just want to finish this training to get my certificates. Why should I do this icebreaker thing? First, every online course has the same introduction discussion board. You know, the one that asks students like the 20 plus questions to share about themselves in week 1? How do you think our students feel having to respond to the same questions for every course every quarter? Boring, right? So some of you may be getting, even students who copy and paste from another course and responding to yours. So why not change it? Icebreakers play a significant role in events in which communication and student comfort levels are important factors. They help you ensure that all your students are equal participants. They break down any barriers that exist in the online environment, and these are some of the reasons why you would want to consider using an icebreaker. First, engagement. How awesome would it be if you start up an interaction or a topic or an icebreaker that gets students excited about the course right from the start? Second, trust building. This helps people feel comfortable talking with each other and participating, especially if they have to work on a group project together in the future. Icebreakers kind of get them into those discussion forums as they continue on, and they know they have to use these discussion forums later on in the course. You can also use them for a mini assessment. So you can kind of discover where people are relative to the topic. So you could use this later on in the course to see where students are in their prior knowledge of a lesson objective. And the most common reason why we use icebreakers and why you should use them is just for introductions. You get a sense of who is in your course. It is not only helpful to you, but it's helpful to the rest of the class. And lastly, alignment. This orients the students to move in the same direction. So you can have an icebreaker to kind of help students know what direction the course is going to take them. Purpose. Now think, why do you want to create your own icebreaker? We want students to know each other, and you want them to warm up and get the discussion flowing comfortably. When students know each other, an icebreaker can break down the barriers that might inhibit honest, comfortable communication. When students are strangers, an icebreaker is a comfortable, simple way to make introductions, help people start communicating and sharing thoughts, and generally warm up. So now, I ask you, what's your purpose?